Welcome everyone to Monday Match Analysis. I'm Gill. It's as official as can be. The US Open is on. Today, the USTA got approval from New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, and with that, the plans can be moved forward. Now, if you are looking for a hardline stance on whether or not the 2020 US Open should take place, you're just not going to get one from me. There is so much to weigh on both sides that my feelings are mixed, and they're going to stay that way. I want to see the USTA get their money. I want to see the players get paid. I want to see the people who cover this sport get paid. I want people to have the escape and the therapy that is watching tennis. I want all of that, and at the same time, I understand that none of that is as important as public health, public safety, and trying to avoid the spread of COVID-19. So my feelings are mixed, and that's not going to change. If you're looking for someone who is going to give you an opinion, and I'm sure some of you have your own on one side or the other, I'm just not there yet, and I'm not sure I'm going to get there. So with that, I'll move on. The next thing that's going to be interesting to watch play out is how many players are going to travel to New York to play this event. And we've seen some hesitancy, especially from European players and South American players. I know, although I can't cite any specific South American players who have been hesitant. I know that travel bans have been an issue there as well. Look, last Thursday, I did a piece after the tournament held its 400-person Zoom call, and in short, my stance was that if Djokovic and Nadal are not going to play the US Open and they cite one guest rules and no crowd provisions as the reasons why, that is tough optics. And some people agreed with me, some people disagreed with me. That's how it should be. This is a nuanced, complicated, and unprecedented issue, and I don't expect everyone to land on the same side here. And while I stand by most of what I said, I do want to address some counter arguments here and talk about this issue further. There are three things that maybe I didn't make clear or misrepresented. So let's get those three things off my chest right away. One, the US Open can go on without top players. It can go on without Djokovic and Nadal. Two, anyone who doesn't want to play the US Open should not play the US Open. That is their right as a free human being. Three, there is no obligation for the top players to the lower ranked players to play the US Open. And that goes against what Danielle Collins, for example, said. And I know I used Collins's statement to demonstrate some of the feelings that the lower ranked players have expressed. And I think those feelings are valid. But the overall notion that top-ranked players have a responsibility to play the event for the lower-ranked players is something that I cannot be on board with. So if Nadal, for example, says that he doesn't want to play the US Open, he only wants to play the French in order to preserve his body, that would make a lot of sense. Two majors, back-to-back, best of 5 sets, after a long layoff, quite frankly, sounds like an injury waiting to happen, especially for Nadal, 34 years old, a history of hardcore knee injuries, and with major title points to defend at Roland Garros. Skipping the US Open might make a ton of sense for Rafa Nadal. Nobody has ever attacked Roger Federer for skipping the French, so Nadal should be afforded the very same, and Djokovic too. Any reasoning that follows that kind of path to me is totally fine. If Serena Williams doesn't want to spend 3 weeks away from her adorable daughter Olympia, again, 100% understandable. What I'm not comfortable with is players lobbying for reduced safety measures, because let's be honest about what players want here. They want more comfort. If players were worried about contracting COVID-19, like the players at the Adria Tour on Sunday or last weekend, Well, then, if that was their concern, they wouldn't have been out Sunday night in Belgrade, Serbia doing this. Again, I'm not passing judgment on them, and I understand that the United States and Serbia are two very different places right now. All I'm doing is inferring the obvious, that if players don't want to go to New York, it's probably not out of fear of contracting COVID-19. They just don't really want to deal with the safety measures. But of course, I don't think the USTA will budge on this or can budge on this. They need support from the government. They need the approval that they just got today. And that approval hinges on these safety provisions. And although New York has been far from perfect in their handling of the pandemic, they continue to take the virus very seriously. The USTA is not going to cave on public health. It's just not going to happen. So it's on the players to make a decision. And whatever their decisions are, I respect them. Everyone should. It's just undeniable to me that not all decisions bear the same level of understanding. Let me end it here on a positive note. Almost every single league in sports right now is fighting over money. Owners are seeing their revenue drop, and subsequently, they're trying to pay players less. And that's a tough ask for players who are already making enormous sacrifices in order to play under these conditions. This very conflict has handcuffed Major League Baseball and has the potential to do the same to the National Basketball Association. Let's take a moment to appreciate the fact that tennis has seemingly risen above that. The USTA is paying out 95% of prize money, despite an estimated 60% revenue loss. There appears right now to be very little fighting over dollars, and that right there is a miracle. The US Open and the USTA deserve major props for that. If you ask me, I say most of the players play. It might not sound fun, but money talks, and so do rankings points. My prediction, the field is going to be a lot stronger than some are predicting right now. That's our show. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.